Hey everybody, welcome to Straight Jacket White Rabbit. I'll be your host, Adam. Tonight we're going to talk about the paranormal. We're going to talk about ghosts and shadow figures, changelings, um, a lot of different subjects. For those of you who didn't know, or who don't know, I've done quite a few paranormal investigations, probably ranging somewhere close to like 65. Um, I started out, believe it or not, with a small group of friends as the skeptic of all things. I mean, I didn't believe in anything supernatural as far as ghosts or anything like that were concerned. And my friends talked me into going on a paranormal investigation with them when I was about 17, I believe. And we went out to an abandoned slave cemetery. And let me tell you right now, I saw some crazy things happen that night. I was actually physically assaulted. I got scratched right down my back to the point where it drew blood in several places. Um, so pretty much ever since then, man, I've been all about as many investigations as I can do and as many stories as I can read and videos I can watch as far as the paranormal goes. Now, for those of you who don't know, because in my videos that explain things like ghost hunting and things like that, they're going to contain some words you may not know. Like, for example, EMF detector. EMF means electromagnetic field. Electromagnetic field readers are the equipment I'm sure you've seen on some type of ghost hunting TV show, whether it's TAPS or Ghost Adventures or whatever. Um, they come in several different shapes and sizes, some with lights, some with just a little screen with the numbers on it. It all depends on what model you're using. Very good tool to have as far as ghost hunting goes, um, because it also allows you to communicate direct questions and responses with spirits. I've seen it work numerous times. You'll set one of these down, like let's say you have the one, it's just, I think it's six dot lights that go up and it tells you how high of an EMF spike you had. You can set this on somewhere on the ground or wherever near where you're at. And, if you have an intelligent spirit there, you can tell them, hey, you know, can you make this thing go off? And they'll make it go off. And you can tell them, hey, stop. And it'll completely quit. You can, one for yes, two for no, and you can ask questions this way. That's with an intelligent spirit. There are spirits that won't react, even though there's activity going on and you've caught activity. They won't react to your questions, or you'll get nonsensical answers like you'll ask one for yes, two for no, and then they'll do three little things of messing with the EMF detector to make it go off. That's usually a non intelligent spirit, somebody who's just, their energy is there, but they're not actually trying to communicate with you, or at least we don't believe they are. Um, then you have the ones you hope you don't run into. For me, that includes things like full on poltergeist activity. I'm not a fan. I've never seen it firsthand, luckily. I've seen a lot of videos, read interviews, read books, and poltergeist activity scares the crap out of me. I mean, when I draw the line when things can start throwing furniture, you know what I mean? Um, Ghosts can touch you. Ghosts can physically grab you. They can scratch you. They can choke you. They can possess you. That's all real. People don't really get. People hear ghosts, and I honestly believe a lot of people believe in ghosts. They just don't want to admit it to themselves, or if they do admit it, it's kind of a yeah, I believe in that there's ghosts, but I've never felt or seen any. A lot of people don't understand when you start to see spirits, when you start to sense things. It's not like Haley Joel Osmond or whatever his name is from The Sixth Sense. I see dead people. That's usually 99.9% of the world does not see ghosts like that. I'm not saying some people can't, true psychics, things like that, but I'm saying 99% of the world does not see ghosts like that. A lot of the things that you will see are like a quick shadow movement if it's a shadow person walking by, a faint outline of somebody moving, like almost paler. I don't want to say shadow like because that gets into the whole shadow people thing, which I believe are different. But almost like a silhouette of a human. Glowing lights, just random noises, voices. I've been in buildings that were haunted that I swear to God I was the only person inside, and I heard full conversations between people. And there's no explaining that when you walk around and there's nobody like anywhere in the building, and you're hearing 5, 6 word sentences from each person. Glasses clinking and stuff. Um, it's really kind of an odd situation to be in, especially from someone who started out as such a skeptic in ghosts. But honestly, man, I'm a full fledged believer. I've had a few experiences that have made me that way. Um, like I said, man, I can tell you right now, there are spirits around you all the time. And whether or not they want to interact with you, and whether or not you're willing to interact with them. Now, you can't stop it per se, but people are oblivious because people don't pay attention to things like their bodies, the way they're feeling very often. A lot of people just get a cold chill and they're like, oh man, I just got a cold chill. For all you know, that could have been a ghost. Um, like, once again, referencing all the TV shows that do this nowadays, the ghost hunters and the whatever you call them, they'll all tell you. I mean, you feel when one of these things is around, and the more you stay in tune with the way you're feeling, the more easily you'll be able to detect that and go, wait a minute, something's here. You know, um, it's like the Ouija board. I tell everyone, Ouija boards have no mystical power whatsoever, okay? It's not the board that's powerful and lets you talk to spirits. It's nearby spirits or spirits in proximity that can hear you, I guess. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Know you're willing to communicate. Which is why a lot of people who use Ouija boards, there's tons of horror stories out there about it. I mean, tons. Look it up. Of people who have used Ouija boards and weren't able to close out the session because there's supposedly, you can just hit goodbye and everything is all good. That's not the way this works, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And just because, well, I've had people tell me, well, I had a Ouija board, but it was a toy. I mean, I got it at the toy store. Believe it or not, they sell these things at children's toy stores. I saw one, I kid you not, made by Parker Brothers, and I saw another one made by Hasbro, and like glowed in the dark or whatever. But I had to explain to people, it doesn't matter where you get it. It doesn't matter if you draw it on a napkin. These spirits know you're trying to communicate with them, and when they know that you're trying to communicate with them, sometimes they communicate back and they don't want to stop. And sometimes you communicate with something that's what I would call a non-human entity. Um, there's a ton of different names and lore, demons, shadow people, whatever you want to call them. I believe there are many classes of ghosts or people in that realm, creatures in that realm. I believe shadow people are about the worst entities that you can come across because, in my experiences, a lot of them turn out to be demonic, evil, whatever you want to call it. Every time I see one of those on an investigation, usually it's followed by quite threatening sounding EVPs. EVP, by the way, is electronic voice phenomenon. It's whenever you catch something on a recorder that you didn't hear with the audible ear or did hear with the audible ear. And there are various classes of EVP. Class A is the best class. It means you can totally tell what it says, every syllable, without having to replay it, re-record it, or not re-record it, replay it and listen to it a couple times to get what it's saying. Some EVPs I've caught are just crystal clear. Others are really, really just, you kind of have to listen to them a few times and go, oh, I heard it. Okay, wait a minute. I wish I still had all my recordings, you guys. This was years ago when I was still doing this. I'm getting back into it now. So stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a hunt fairly soon if I can help it. Um, but yeah, like I said, shadow people to me are just they're almost the top tier of crazy crap that tends to happen. when they're around. Poltergeist activity is obviously pretty much one of the kings of that. And if you don't know what a poltergeist is, watch watch any number of horror movies based on it, man. Watch, Amityville or any of this other stuff. Watch Poltergeist, the actual movie. Um, that type of crazy I've never experienced. I really hope to see it someday just because I'm one of those people. I know it's dangerous, and those things, I'm a firm believer those things can hurt you. But I'm one of those people who I'm not quite satisfied with a subject unless I get to experience it. And I'll always keep digging. And like I said, I'm planning a trip here soon after I can get some night vision cameras and some other goodies. And I'm going to take you guys along with me for a hunt. If I can't do it live because of signal problems, I will be doing a recorded one and I'll bring it back to you guys whenever I can get that done. As far as myths and stuff about ghosts, okay, you don't. There are so many stories about ghosts that are exactly that. They're just stories. It's really hard to define that line between fiction and fact. And far be it from me. I'm not going to call anyone a liar. I mean, I don't know your experiences, and you don't know mine. But I've never experienced a full, you can't see through bodied apparition. I've seen things that look like faces pop out in the dark, accompanied with some really creepy sounds and EVPs and really crazy EMF readings that all went along with it. And this is why I like to bring those types of devices with me when I go on an investigation, is because it's proof. I mean, it's just more proof. If you catch your spare EVP, everyone's going to go, well, what about background contaminant noise? What about this? What about that? What if they had somebody we didn't see off camera who was saying something or whatever? But you have an EVP, and then you have an EMF spike, and then you have a video recording of an orb or a light or something moving on its own. All of these things add up to give you more evidence that somewhere is haunted and truly haunted. And when I say truly haunted, okay, I don't mean the other hauntings are fake. I mean not a residual energy. Okay, Gettysburg is famous for residual energy hauntings. They see people marching around in the woods. They see like old style lanterns by the tracks, by the railroad area near there. The battlefield itself, you can occasionally hear gunshots and other crazy sound effects. Those are what I call a loop haunting, a repetitive haunting, an energy imprint haunting. Basically, my opinion is what it is it was such an emotionally and everything else intense moment that it embedded itself in that area, not just for right then, but permanently embedded itself. Who knows if they go away. People will record these in stories and things saying that they heard an argument that supposedly happened in their apartment or wherever where someone was killed 50 years ago, and they heard someone arguing almost the exact same way. Things like that are repetitive hauntings, loop hauntings, whatever you want to call them. The reason intelligent hauntings are so fun is because they get really creepy really, really fast. I don't know what it is. Even if I've had little kid spirits actually respond. When I asked your age, hey, how old are you? Can you light that up? How many years old you are? Like 1, 2, and then just let go after each one so the light goes away before you stop. And I've had ghosts that I truly believe were children who would respond. And even that, man, when you get an intelligent response, creepy. Like it's super exciting, but at the same time, it's like every hair on your body is standing on end. You're like, did I just talk to something that's not on this plane? It's a weird experience. Like I said, I've seen a lot, man. I've also seen a lot of fakes. I had one lady had me and some friends go up to her house because she supposedly had a haunting, and this woman had like strings tied to doorknobs so she could make them slam. She went as far as putting rotten meat in her vent that she could turn on at will to make the house have weird smells coming out of nowhere. It was just a total farce. But there are legitimate hauntings in this country. And honestly, I love, all my friends were like, man, we did this before Ghost Adventurers, or we did this before Taps. And I'm like, yeah, but I love those shows because now with their coverage and how much money they had to go do all these places, that gives me tons of targets to go do future investigations because the places that get this attention, look up any site from any of those shows, and I'm like, half of them will let you rent out their establishment for a night by yourself or with a group of friends so you can do a paranormal investigation. And it opens up, I can truly test some of these places that have been vetted by so-called pros. You know, Ghost Adventures was a show I liked for a while. The head guy on that was really cool for a while, Zach, although there were some moments where I was like, But I mean, his show and his little group of guys that he worked with, I can't remember their names right now. I'm sorry if you guys see it. But they're really like they got in some places that some supposedly crazy stuff went down. I remember the episode that talked about Bobby Mackey's Music World, I think it's called. And I had actually heard of this place prior. This man opened up a club on the very site where there was a very screwed up murder and a couple other instances of things of very violent nature that went down there. The land is supposed to be cursed by one of the guys that committed the murder. I would love to go do an investigation somewhere like that where even these guys got chased out and are scared of. Just because I really don't. I mean, it's not a bragging point. I just don't scare that easy as far as supernatural things go. And two, I mean, think about it, man. If you're going somewhere where you have almost a positive chance of recording something that's evidence of the other side, that's deep. I mean, that is some meaningful shit for our day and age. I mean, people do a lot of things with their lives, but proving the afterlife, that's a pretty big step forward in my book. And I would love to be the one that did it. I mean, there's been lots of videos of people who've caught legitimate photos of ghosts, man. I I'm not saying orbs are not proof, but I'm very picky about what photos of orbs impress me or videos of orbs impress me. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people who do ghost hunts are not as strict as what I was when I was doing my investigations. They kick up dirt, they scuff their feet when they walk, things of this nature, and all of that causes particles in the air. And you can literally have them 50, 60, 100 to a frame, and a couple frames later, there's absolutely nothing. And that's because the stuff's settling back down. Also, I don't smoke on my investigations, so if anyone comes with me, I have the same rule. I tell them, no smoking while you're filming whatsoever because it does weird stuff by the tricks of light of the camera and the smoke in the air. You want a good, clean investigation. You have to set ground rules basically. Now, that being said, I have seen ghosts. I have seen shadow people. Like I said, I haven't experienced any kind of poltergeist activity. That creeps me out, but I'd love it. Shadow people freak me out, man. I've seen a solid black mass. And here's the thing. Normal spirits can kind of look like shadows, but you can still see through them. There's one in particular that I saw whenever I was out in Virginia. And I was doing this stuff out of Danville, Virginia. And we went up, we had heard some stuff about this old cabin up in the woods up there, me and a couple friends from the work I was at. And so we decided we're going to go up to this cabin and check it out. And we're up there, probably an hour, hour and a half, and we're having a good old time and telling ghost stories to each other, trying to creep each other out, see if we could see anything. It was just a old, dilapidated cabin out in the middle of nowhere. Well, we're all sitting there out front, and the way we have all the lights set up, are on the inside of where the cabin is. Well, like the interior of the. It's basically just the walls of the cabin. The windows are all missing and stuff. But we have all the lights in the cabin, and we're standing out front and we're talking. And I clearly saw some dude in a hat walk clean across the window. Black figure, solid black. Didn't see any light penetrating this figure. It was black. And I saw it go from one side of the window to the other. Just, I mean, like second and a half, 2 seconds tops. And I was ecstatic. I was grabbing onto my friends. Hey, dude, did you see that? Did you see that? You know, and I was getting happy because I was, at that point, I was truly, holy crap, this place is really haunted. And so I went back there numerous times. My friends would not go back with me. They all had an eerie feeling about the place. That's not true. One of my friends went back one time with me. You know who you are if you're watching. But anyways, I've had some cool experiences. I've seen a lot of creepy things, man. But here's the bottom line. Certain people are more sensitive to others because they either just naturally inclined to it or in tune with it, or they've opened themselves up to this other plane. And I can feel it, man. I've been in areas of my family where we've moved, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything, but I feel really weird in this house. And so I've just kept my mouth closed because a lot of people don't want to hear that, especially in my family. Like, I love you, Mom, but my mom is a total wuss. She hates anything to do with ghosts. So I always kept my mouth shut about stuff like that with her. I remember a couple of times me and my brother talking about creepy things that happened in our houses, different places we lived in as we were growing up. But since I've been an adult, man, I've seen so much more. I mean, I can't tell you how many EVPs I've captured, most of which were pretty cool. I mean, I get very excited. I'm like a little kid in a toy store when I capture something on video or EVP. But I love the work. I want to get into it more. I want to find out what these things are. I mean, what do you think these shadow people are? Are they just ghosts? Are they demons? I mean, I've seen and I've read books, houses where people thought demons were. And sometimes they do report shadow people, but other times there have been shadow people who've been seen in abandoned insane asylums, regular haunted houses, a lot of places where people just died. So are these just people who were that screwed up when they were alive that they've become evil? I mean, I don't want to say that all the shadow people are evil because I don't know. But like I said, a lot of negative connotations in ghost hunting come along with the shadow people. If you have a witness telling you they saw shadow people there, you know, chances are something pretty intense is going to happen at this location. Um, I can't remember which. There's a book I'm trying to think of. I'll come back to it. Anyways, as far as ghost hunting goes, you guys just, if you're going to go out and do something like that, cool, be safe, but realize you could be bringing things home with you. You know, I've had conversations about wanting to get back into this with my significant other, and, you know, not everyone's cool with it. She happens to be, I'm really lucky in that way. She happens to be cool with it. But not a lot of people are going to be cool with their significant other bringing home something. And people are like, I'm not afraid. Yeah, well, you're not afraid until something starts opening up shelves on your house and chucking dishes across the room. Okay, I've seen stuff follow people home. And it is not always good. I had a friend of mine who had repetitive nightmares about some crazy, creepy looking dude he's never met after we went to an investigation in a cemetery. And it happened to him literally every night for like a month and a half. And I mean, to the point where he was terrified when he'd wake up every night. He would wake up terrified. A couple of times he even said he thought he saw someone in his room when he woke up. And then he would like turn on the lights and there's no one there. But if you're going to go, man, you know, stay in tune with your body. Your body will let you know what's going on. If you feel a certain way, like someone's watching you, start clicking off photos. Pan around with your camera. You never know what you might catch. On further upcoming episodes, I'm going to do some cool stuff. I want to do a upcoming video on the Valeska Axe Murderer house. Those of you who do not know about this story, long story short, I'll give you the gist of it on the actual video I run down, but there was an insane mass murder that happened at this house involving children and adults, a large number of children and 2 adults. And this place has had on every show that's gone there, every person that's gone there and written a book about it. It affects almost everybody. And a buddy of mine sent me a news column from an online news article, and apparently a group of people who had paid to do an investigation there went in, and one of the men stabbed himself under supposedly not his own power. He was this is all their words. He was apparently possessed or had something controlling him. He didn't mean to stab himself, and he took out his knife and stabbed himself with it. And people are trying to call bullshit on him, or or just saying he's doing it for the attention. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've gone on investigations with people that were more easily influenced, and I don't know what makes somebody more easily influenced. I've had certain times where I've been on an investigation and I've just felt overwhelmingly depressed or sad to the point of almost crying, or angry to the point where I was just punching concrete, wanting to beat something up. These things have a actual real impact on emotions, on attitude. And yeah, ghosts can possess you. I don't care. That's not just demons. I'm not saying we all know demons supposedly can possess people. I'm talking about ghosts, and they can possess you. They can make you outside your head. They can make you hear things. They can control you in some cases. Now, I don't know what makes some people susceptible to this or not, but I do have a theory. I am not able to be hypnotized. I've had a couple of different people who've tried in my lifetime, counselors. I actually had one guy who was a professional hypnotist at a state fair, and he got all embarrassed. And he's like, "Well, no, some people you cannot hypnotize." And I know that sounds corny at a state fair, but I mean, I've had full-on licensed hypnotherapists because I wanted to see if it would work on me, and I can't go under. Certain people can't. Certain people can. In my opinion, I think that has something similar or something to do with possession. I believe pretty firmly, enough to believe that I kind of want to check with most people who go on hunts with me whether or not you can be, just so I know who, in my opinion, is a risk. But I honestly believe that if you can't be hypnotized, you can't be possessed. I believe it's something about a mental block that's stopping the possession. And I don't know what causes it. I don't have any clue why I can't be hypnotized. Honestly, I'm disappointed. I really wanted to see if they could uncover some forgotten memory or something cool. But yeah, I just can't be. But that's my theory. Like I said, I mean, if you have one of your own, cool, shoot it out. Let me know in the comments, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, as far as I stand, I'm a firm believer that if you can't be hypnotized, then you can't be fully possessed. You can be influenced, but a full body where they have control of you, I don't believe that can happen. And I also don't believe that can happen if you're very strong spiritually. I'm not going to say religiously, I'm going to say spiritually, and I mean that from like in your soul. If you're strong, I don't believe you can be fully possessed. I believe you can be partially possessed, and I believe you can be influenced. And we'll get into more of those topics later. But like I said, there's so many cool hauntings in this. I mean, in this world, there's millions of them. In the U.S. alone, there are thousands and thousands of great hauntings that we're going to get into talking about. And like I said, my first one is going to be, other than this video, the introduction to hauntings, is going to be the Valeska Axe Murder House. So I'm really looking forward to get working some more on that here. I'm going to try to drop it within like 3 or 4 days. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions about any ghost hunting stuff or things like that, I have a neat test for you too. I've brought this up on my brother's channel before. For those of you who don't believe that ghosts are electromagnetic energy or ghosts can't drain camera batteries, I've heard that one a lot. Yes, they can. If you do a paranormal investigation, stock up on batteries, because seriously, I can't count the number of times where I've had to leave an investigation, drive however far, 40 minutes sometimes, to the nearest store that's still open just to get batteries for my equipment and extra batteries, because when I got there, I had brand new batteries, and within 15 minutes, every battery that I was using for every piece of equipment died. But a neat little trick: take an unopened pack of batteries to your local cemetery. Just go. It doesn't really matter where, but just go somewhere deep in the cemeteries. Not really important where, and just leave your batteries for like a day or two. You want to help yourself out, get the ones with the little power indicator strip so you can see how much power is in them. And if you don't have one of those, if you have a battery tester, that works too. But in a few days' time, they'll be drained. And sometimes within an hour or two, they'll be completely drained. It all just depends on how active the cemetery is and things like that. But yes, ghosts do drain batteries. They screw with electrical signals. They mess with. I've seen them mess with everything. I have personally seen this. Here we go. I have seen a camera turn off on its own. When we went to turn it back on, it's flashing the very low battery sign. Turned back on briefly, and then turned back off. We went into our little camp area, grabbed a battery directly from the charger. The light was green, the battery was charged. Put it in the camera, walked about 30 feet back in the direction we were heading, and the battery's flat dead. I mean, just all of a sudden it's all low battery, doo. And we've checked them. We put them in different cameras and stuff. They're just dead. I don't know why they tend to absorb this. I don't know if that has something to do with the electromagnetic field that they produce is just sucking the energy out of it. I don't know. You ever want to have a good time on a paranormal investigation? Here's another pro tip. Bring an EMF pump. You don't want to stay in the same room with them too long. EMF waves can cause paranoia, a lot of different things. But set one up and just turn it on low levels. And if you're in a really, truly haunted area, the activity will almost double, triple sometimes, because these spirits are using that energy to do the things that they're doing to communicate with you. And I believe that they have to get this energy from somewhere. So, I mean, why not bring it with you? Maybe they won't be draining your cameras then, you never know. But like I said, I a firm believer in ghosts now. I know they exist. I don't think they exist. I know they exist. And I'm going to tell you right now, as far as like my first ghost hunt back, it's going to be a big deal. I'm going to blow it up on my brother's channel and my channel, and I'll probably make a little tiny clip just for the countdown to when I'm going to go. But I'm working on getting all that set up right now. I love you guys for following me. Please, everybody, remember to like, share, and subscribe my videos, please. I'm trying to grow that base as quickly as I can. I'm going to try. My goal right now is 1,000 people. I'm trying really hard. I know I'm not at 500 yet. I just past the threes, but I honestly believe we can do it. So make sure that if you enjoy what you see, let me know. Hit the like button and subscribe. For those of you here from my brother's channel, I'll be anyone here not from my brother's channel. Actually, I'm sorry. My brother has a channel, J Dreamers. It's a Z at the end. He has his own website. He's got his YouTube thing. He talks about a lot of interesting topics that I don't technically usually get in on my channel. I tend to be more about conspiracy theories, supernatural, as far as ghosts and demons and things of that nature. My brother deals with so much deeper topics and wider range of topics. and he does little, truth in movie segments. So if you aren't from my brother's channel, go check him out. Those of you from my brother's channel, much love. I appreciate you guys coming here and hanging out with me, listening to me rant a little bit on this video. I know it wasn't very organized this time. I kind of had issues. I actually lost a video today that I was doing for you guys. I worked 4 hours on it, and for some reason, I cannot find it in my computer files. So I'm sorry about that, but like I said, I will have a new video up, the Velisca Axe Murder House. I will have a video up about that here in the next few days. And until then, like I said, I appreciate and love you guys all for your support. You guys are the reason I do this. I've gotten an amazing response from you guys so far in the comments, and from my brother. I have the best brother in the world, man. For those of you who don't know my brother's the one that pushed me to do this, along with all the awesome viewers on his channel. And he was really like, you can do this, man. You're entertaining. You know your stuff. You have a vast knowledge of all this stuff. You could honestly make a great channel, but you got to get it started first. And he's the one who pushed me into doing it. And for that, I love you, bro. I appreciate you. And for all of you guys out there from the Good Vibe Tribe, much love, like I said. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, this is Adam signing off from Straight Jacket White Rabbit. Remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Good night.